Hey, JJ here, and this is the Lens of Truth podcast, where we play through the oldies and modern goldies to give you our opinion. With nearly 100 years of gaming between all of us, we see how well these gems hold up in our eyes. With me today, we have...
TI, and the A stands for ancient.
Zerovii, as in it's been 0 years since I've been reminded that I'm old.
Fair enough, and today we have Nostalgia November starting, and we're going to be doing the 40th anniversary of the Famicom, so definitely going to feel old this episode, but you might be old, but it's still gold. So yeah,
Just blow that dust off and keep trucking.
right. Blow into your cartridges, get your shit working together, because we're going to be going down memory lane.
There's our rage bait for this, so now people are going to go in the comments and tell us how you're not supposed to do that.
Well, it worked, so I don't give a shit. And I'm going to be cursing a
Me too.
lot because we're in the spirit of the angry video game nerd as well.
Listen, a little bit of spit, a little bit of whacking the cart upside the head on a specific part. You gotta put some elbow grease to get these old games to work. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna hear any of this rubbing alcohol and Q-tip nonsense.
Hey, if percussive maintenance didn't work, they wouldn't keep doing it, and it wouldn't keep working.
Yeah.
Worked for the Fonz. Works for me.
Honestly, my dad was an early adopter for the Q-tip and alcohol swab. Even though the cartridges said don't do it, I have fond memories of, like, honestly, the smell of, like, rubbing alcohol is, like, linked in my brain to NES. It's, like, one of my earliest memories of just huffing, like, rubbing alcohol, and it just reminds me of cleaning NES games. So that's a fun way to start off. And not to mention, there was one time I remember I couldn't open the rubbing alcohol, and I was like with my cousin, and we were both trying to play a game, and she's just watching me try and struggle with this app on the alcohol, and it like finally opens, but it splashes all in my eye, and I was in distress at that point, but we got the game to work, so
Jesus Christ.
it was a good time. So
There you have it, folks. If you want to get into gaming, some retro gaming, just splash some rubbing alcohol on your face, start huffing it, and you'll see the
it'll
light.
make you a strong gamer. Not your eyes, not so much, but that's what glasses are for.
You got the composite signal on TVs. It's a little blurry. It won't make too much of a difference for these old games.
There you go. So, just a way to start off here with the NES. We all had this as a kid, in our early days, our youth.
Yeah, this has been there for me pretty much as long as I can remember. My first video game, I've mentioned it before, was Mega Man 3. That NES controller just was natural in my hand. My brother would hand me the second controller. It would not be plugged in, but man, I would pretend I was Mega Man and I would have the time of my life.
Same thing, but Legend of Zelda 1 with my brother.
Yeah. Dragon Warrior, Zelda 2 with my dad. Just good memories. Funnily enough, if your brother did plug in the controller into port 2 on Mega Man 3, you could do like little button combos, and you get like the moon jump, and hits don't kill you, and enemies freeze. That was one way.
No kidding.
Yeah, my mom
Yeah,
used
little
to.
debug cheats.
My mom would be the second controller, and she would like cheat me through Mega Man 3 as a little kid, which is cool. So,
All these years, and I'm still learning something new about the first video game I've ever played.
and one of the best, I will say, Mega Man 3 is one of my early games. I absolutely love it. I remember picking it up from my older cousin's shady friend. Like, not me personally, I was a dumb little baby, but I remember being there, and my dad was like testing it, and it's just so weird how time just goes so quickly in that kind of way. But yeah, NES. I had it since the get-go. My dad was one of the first adopters of it. In the New York area. I could be butchering this lore a bit, but when Nintendo originally came to America, the industry just, it collapsed a few years back, and Nintendo was trying to get their foot in the door, so they sold the NES as a toy in toy stores, but it was turned out to be a great video game system too. But in the New York area, like the city area, I believe it was a testing ground. So if Nintendo didn't sell a certain amount or do well enough in that specific area as the test zone, no one else was getting it. They were done packing up shop, going home, and we had a failed toy. So it's kind of cool to know, like, my dad just buying this little gray box kind of helped push, that +1 on those sales to maybe keep that, legacy going for what we have today, which is just kind of cool.
He did his part, putting that coin in or whatever, what have you, the NES equivalent, putting the Konami code in to give us the rest of us a bunch of lives to play some video games
The
with.
original,
So props to you, JJ
the
Dad.
original console war veteran. He's serving and he didn't even
Yeah.
know. He's in the National Guard of console wars.
I have to ask, is the location that they sold the Nintendo out of in New York, is that what turned into the Nintendo store of New York that is there
That
now?
would be cool. Maybe that's why they do have the Nintendo store there, just as like maybe, like Japanese respect kind of thing. I don't know. I'm literally spitballing. But, Nintendo's legacy in the city seems pretty substantial from a lore point. So maybe the Nintendo store did, maybe there's some seeds to that. Can't confirm or deny. We'll get Reggie on here one day. We'll figure it out.
We don't fact check
Oh, yeah.
here, though.
Yeah, we're not allowed.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up Wikipedia and I see like the first plans to release this in North America was with a distribution agreement with Atari. Was expected to be finalized at the Summer Consumer Electronics Show (CES) in June 1983. During that show, Atari discovered Coleco was demonstrating an unlicensed port of Donkey Kong on its Atom computer system. Then Atari delayed the deal, thinking that this violated their licensing. And then shortly afterwards, Atari CEO Ray Kassar was fired, and the deal fell apart.
Sounds about
So
right.
that's when Nintendo went, all right, I'm going to just sell the console myself. Fuck trying to use a third party.
That's what you get for dissing the donkey.
Nah.
And now look where Atari is.
Yeah. Ugh. 6 feet under.
It seems to be a common running thread of these companies that back out of partnerships with Nintendo and then regretting it substantially, between like Sony famously not partnering up with Nintendo for their CD-based consoles back in the day during the PlayStation 1 era.
They're the only ones that really got
Sony
out
did
of
fine
yeah.
after that.
They're the only ones that got out of that mess. They did pretty good. They whooped Nintendo quite a bit. But everything's a boomerang, so things are changing now. Who knows what the console landscape will look like in a few years. But 40 years ago, that beautiful, beautiful gray box, I fell in love with this thing. My uncle would call me the Nintendo Mini. I would just I loved that little controller. I would hold it upside down because I was like 2 or 3 years old and had no concept of shapes and direction. And I even have my original controller where there's teeth marks on the corners because I would just gnaw on it.
Yeah.
Truly, I found my passion and love. And, you could say, hey, maybe I would have been a star athlete or a musician renowned around the world, but the amount of joy that I've gotten from digging deep through these games over the years has just been, amazing. There's so many connections I've made with people, so many little friends that, would hang out, and my, like, common thread was always just like, oh, you play video games? What games do you like? And you just go from there. I don't know. I owe so much to this little gray box. I love it.
There is so much that can be attributed to this thing. It is truly the family computer entertainment system. Like it's a portmanteau of both the North American and Japanese names. It totally transformed the living room. Like there's so much you can get out of it, between challenge, between just going to different worlds, between like just like the stark difference between an NES and anything that came before it is like it's hard to comprehend when you weren't there. Like I was born in '89, so I was like on the cusp of this. I didn't quite witness it myself, but I have a brother that's 10 years older than me, so like I've heard the tales of how much this thing changed everything, and it's like it's absurd. It. Why don't you guys talk about just how much like this just changed the gaming landscape?
Well, I was born in 87 at the tail end, so I'm right there with you in the sense where, I was just a dumb little babby. But like I said, this thing was like born with me. It was just always there. And I just
Mm.
vividly remember getting NES games. Like I had to have been like 3 or 4 and just seeing my older cousins, my dad, my uncle. My uncle had a save file on Dragon Warrior, and the guy has never touched a video game in his life 40 years later. But this console, like, it was generational. Like, it was just a game changer. You look at Atari and game, like systems like that before it came out, and they look primitive. Like, it's hard to go back to them. And you could say, oh, that's because we didn't grow up with them. I don't know. I talk to people that grew up with them. There's just not a whole lot there. Not to say that there isn't stuff to explore, but like when you load up an NES game, you load up Mario, Super Mario Brothers, and you just have this thing that transformed the world. Like there's no lesser way to put it. Like it changed the world. And
To me, Atari is like a guy on the corner, like playing spoons or something. And it's like, all right, that's cool. Yeah, you're making music, but like, check out that concert hall down the street. Look at what those fuckers are doing with like this big production, you know? It's
absolutely.
just like it
Right.
blows it out of the water.
So
It's like so many of these games were like multimedia experiences with like full sound. Like the music was out of this world for so many of these
Well,
games.
this
Like the
way it
the
is.
exploration of these sound chips is unreal.
yeah, there's some timeless compositions here still. I was born in 1990, and from what I can tell, the NES I grew up on, released in 1993, the top-loading new NES
Yeah.
model.
That
But
was
like with the
magic.
Atari stuff, yeah, that console was fucking magic to me. It definitely was like, holy shit, how does this even work? Because like I was fucking 3 years old at that time.
It was
So like,
weird because I had nostalgia, like not nostalgia, but like in my head, like since life is so short as a kid, 87, 89, 90, like I was like 6 or give or take when the top loader came out. And in my mind, the NES was already like ancient to a degree. It was something I was familiar with, but to see a revision come out, and because my NES pins were like shot, the thing barely would work. And then I remember being in the store when the top loader came out, and my dad was like, you can get the Jungle Book VHS. Like there was a live action Jungle Book, I think, that came out at the time, or like some kind of Jungle Book, where he's like, you get the top loader for $50. And I was like, I will take the top loader, thank you. And for 2 months, every time I was done with that system, I would put it back into the box. I would put it into the styrofoam. I would nestle the dog bone controller back into its place. Like
That much care and reverence for
I
it. Yeah.
I love the original one. Like I can't stress how impactful that was to me in such an early life. And then to see this brand new system that played all my games the first try, and it looked cool, and the dog bone controller was sick. Like granted, it didn't.
You get to see the art on your cartridges as you play because
Ah,
like they're actually
so
visible instead of
good.
sticking in the console.
It didn't have the AV
Unreal.
ports. I will say that was a step back. It was a little misstep, but it was still the early '90s, so coaxial was fine. You didn't.
They had to make it compact somehow, and like there were converters. You could convert to
Yep,
RF if
I
you
have one of those
wanted.
boxes.
I
Yeah,
I
I
had
have
to
my
beg my
Pelican one.
family.
I just found it the other day. It's still in its packaging.
Nice.
I had to beg my family every time to hook up that coaxial cable for me because I couldn't reach behind the TV with my tiny baby
No,
arms.
I remember that struggle
But
too. Yep.
I remember with
I
the
forced
Atari, like
myself. Oh, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, I remember with going back to Atari, but I remember my family actually really liked River Raid on the Atari. They would play it a bunch. My mom and my grandma would. I don't know why it's the one shoot 'em up they would all play. Didn't touch the Nintendo apparently too much, but
They were
they were
all
big on
gamed
that.
out. So, were you gonna say ATI?
I can't remember at this point. There's so much to talk about and remember with this thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, this thing is just like unavoidable though. Like you guys talking about this makes me realize that like every single house had one of these, right? Like I would go to my sister's friends' houses and like I wouldn't expect them to game, but it's like, oh yeah, we got the family NES and like the dad plays like whatever game he's got going on, and the
Jaws, some
sisters play
LJN
like
shit.
everyone had something. Yeah. Yeah, like the dad's got some like unplayable like Silver Surfer, like something janky, and like not saying Silver Surfer's janky, it's a little hard, but like he'd be a master at it, like, and just that's all he would play, you
That
know.
was another thing too. Everyone had like you. There were random masters of games. Like you would go over at someone's house. Like I remember going over to my. Uh, so I'm super Italian. So when I lived in Queens as a little baby, there was two houses, and both houses had two like floors and like living spaces. So there was basically like four families that lived together, in two houses that were next to each other. And it was like my family and then like my grandma and my uncle, and then next door was like my aunt and her cousin. Like it was just this cool thing. So I would go over to my aunt's house, and like her cousins were playing like NES, and there was this guy Pat who would just eat dog food for some reason as like a gimmick. But, like he knew every secret to like uh Zelda 1 at the time, and this was like early 90s. Like you looked at his save file, and he had all the hearts. He had all like I was like, you can change colors. He's like, gotta get the rings. And there were so many, like he knew all this crazy stuff. Like he had battle chess, and he was just a god at like anyone's house I went to. There was usually like someone who was just a master at a random game, because like you played the games you had and you learned them inside and out. And don't let anyone fool you. People say, "Oh, we didn't have the internet back then." People use the Nintendo tip line. Don't let anyone fool you. That line was probably on
That shit
fire,
was their Google.
right?
We bought the fucking Nintendo Power, man.
That too, Nintendo Power is a great resource, but like on the fly, you're at home, it's a Friday night, you get stuck in Zelda, you're calling that tip line. You're not screwing around. That's a 900 number you call at work. That's what my dad did.
Yeah, and they had the like deep secrets in there too, and it's like just stuff like, oh yeah, if you put this button combination in, then you'll find the secret, and it allows you to progress and gets a tornado to come suck you up
Yeah.
when you crouch next to the
And
wall.
sometimes it wasn't a secret. It was just strategy. Like a way a speedrunner would be like, "Yo, bro, by level 3 you need these power-ups." That's how they were like people were really well versed. Like they were ahead of their
Yeah.
time in information gathering, because these people that worked on these hotlines didn't have tips. They had strats. That went a long way, because those strategies would permeate. One person would learn it and they'd be like, "Yo, did you know that this item is broken? Just use this in Gradius." And it's just so crazy.
I I feel like that mindset is very permeant of this era too. Like a few years ago, I was going through my NES games with my brother when he was here to visit, and like we would pull out random games, and he would just be like, "Oh yeah, I remember like the secrets and strategies here. Like check this out. If I click on the wall here, and then like I save this item for 2 levels, then like he remembered all this shit because it's just drilled into your brain of like." It was so important to like your being to be able to like conquer these challenges or just like these weird things back in the day. And it was a whole culture of like you get absorbed into this. You don't have distractions. It's like you go home, you teleport into this world where like all that matters is like strategizing, and it's like you get to work together with people either through the Nintendo tip line, or you talk to your friends, your family, like, hey, how do you get past this part? Have you heard about this? And like you share all these little rumors and tips, and it was a whole magical experience.
It was special.
Thinking
It's
about how back in the day, kids would be playing like Dragon Quest and like not know where to find the load or the Erdrick gear, and so like they go to the playground tomorrow, like day after, and go, "Hey, do you know where this thing is?" And he's like, what do you mean, where is that thing? I never even heard of that. And that's how it would spread.
Yeah, it became this fabled thing, and these things would simmer in our brains. Like NES games, and this really was apparent yesterday. I mean, it's apparent all the time, but I was replaying through some NES games, and I wanted to finish Rad Racer. That was a childhood game that I always spent a lot of time with. I've beaten it a few times. I was like, let me brush off some rust. It's been a while. And the first like four tracks, no problem. But then by like track five, six, and like the final one, you have to play perfect. If you can't mess up, like you have to play perfect. And there was a time where like I remember playing that game and learning it. I remember barely being able to scrape by on track one as a kid. And then eventually like, I could do track three and then Athens and like you grow with these games and it's because you thought about them. Like I remember sitting there in class as a kid and just thinking about, wait, maybe if I didn't turbo on that like corner there, I would have had enough time to like there people were doing that all across the country. They got absorbed and then they'd get into a flow state and play these games and it just like stuck with people for decades. And it again transformed culture and the world in ways that like that the cell phone and automobiles and like TV and radio like put the Famicom right there. Like it sounds silly, but like
No, look where it led us to now.
yeah,
Like we wouldn't
Yeah.
have
I
like
don't,
these Fortnites or Minecrafts or anything without this. Like
yeah, there's no way anyone could argue against that.
yeah, it's just silly to think about because it's like it is this leisure activity, but like it has just transformed so much how we.
but like you said, look with the flow state and everything, it's entirely unique to this era. I think like you look at challenges in a lot of games now, and like to get to the end now, a lot of it is just kind of like timed button presses. I know that sounds basic. Like, of course, video games are timed button presses, but no, it's different. It's like very streamlined and like figured out now, where it's like, okay, you press the buttons at the right time in this pre-canned series of events in this new game, and now you get the credits, you win.
No,
But back then, it was like you didn't finish the game, you had to beat it. Like you had to
Yep.
conquer that stuff back then. Every game had like its unique rules and like feel to it. So like when you're sitting there thinking about like, how am I going to go back to beat this game? Like you're in class and you're thinking about it. You're thinking about like how the jump physics react to you, how like every little input is like so unique to this specific game, like every game kind of felt different. You had two buttons. How different can they be? It turns out a lot of them had weird rules or like
Yeah.
they just had such unique feels.
or it didn't work in some cases. But yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
uh,
them didn't work.
I'm thinking of Friday the 13th when I say that. But more of the point, yeah, like all these games, like even back with like Tower of Jiraga, like when it was an arcade game, they just stuck a giant notebook on the side of the cabinet so everyone could leave their notes and get this community knowledge going to actually figure out how to beat the game. It used to be an adventure that we all
Yeah, it
partook
was
in,
a
like an ARG,
communal
essentially.
experience. Like absolutely.
It wasn't bad game design to have a secret. It was just how things were back then.
Yeah, even going back to what ATI said about like the two buttons thing, like I was playing Rad Racer, and as I was playing it, I was thinking like this game is no different than like, do you remember those like toy car things where it was just like there was like a fake floor and you would kind of just like turn like a plastic wheel and like you would move the car.
I had one of those on a watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and if you left the track, it would turn like the red lights on. If you were on, it would have green
Yeah,
lights or something.
in my head, I was like playing Rad Racer, and I was like, "This game is just a glorified version of this." But then you get to like the final tracks, and the gameplay, it's super simple, and yet the nuance in how perfect you have to be, weaving in between the cars to just make the time to your next checkpoint. Like there's so much nuance and like feel that you don't really get. Like when I beat Silk Song, I felt okay about it. like I felt good, but I didn't feel like this like I don't know, there's like an almost spiritual sense of satisfaction when you like complete a hard NES game. Like even Rad Racer, I grinded Rad Racer the final lap or the final race yesterday for like an hour cuz I just couldn't get through it like on the first try like I did with like 90% of the game. But then after that like hour 20 minutes and I finally got the perfect run, I was like this is it jumped from like beating the level to like you have to do a steel soul run to finish this track. Like
Yeah.
I felt so much more satisfaction than just Silk Song, you know, because like you were saying, a lot of these new games, there's so much extra to like even when it's Dark Souls hard, it's
Mm.
not
Even just
comparable.
times when you're like there, you're like not playing, you're just like holding forward down hallways, like that kind of stuff adds up. It's like I know you have to move from scene to scene in video games, and like a lot of these new games have you exploring a whole world, but I don't know, something about it not being like when you have an NES cart, it's like a monolith staring you
Hmm.
down, and you have to like David and Goliath like tackle this thing that's like just it exists to oppress you, you know?
And you have to come a
It feels like some.
go on.
Oh, I was gonna say it feels like some ancient history thing. Like you found this old obelisk of a game, and like it's just this trodden mystery of like you don't even know how to interact with the game half the
But
time.
I was gonna say
Like yeah, you know how to move and hit buttons, but like good luck knowing how to actually progress the game.
yep, you have to be equipped with like a certain set of knowledge. Like you have to understand certain things. There's strategies you have to develop, and it's just extremely nuanced because the gameplay is just so like it's boiled down to its core. It's like you move, you press button, you go. Like even Chippendale, super simple game, but like when you're moving and grooving, you're just zooming around and it's just these games, I don't know, maybe it's cuz we grew up with them, they get me into that flow state and I genuinely feel happier when I spend like an afternoon just beating like a set of a handful of old NES games like Gradius or Bucky O'Hare, just Journey to Silius. I just pull these games up, you know, spend an hour or so beating them each, and then I just feel so much better than if I just spent like 2 weeks playing Silksong. I know I'm attacking Silksong. I had a good time with it, but I'm just like
It's recent memories. It's just
it is, and I'm
it's
comparing
one
the
of those
two.
comparisons.
Yeah, it's a recent memory, and I'm for sure comparing the
Yeah.
two. Because
And there is a lot of similar DNA because Silksong is one of those games where it's like it wants to be a challenge for you. It knows that it's difficult and it wants you to play by its rules, but there's also so much flexibility to it and like in the pursuit of like ease of access, I guess, and like just needing to be able to reach a wide audience. Um, you're not like in Castlevania when you jump, you cannot change your jump arc. You know, it's like that's just it's not like they didn't think about that mechanic back then. It's just that like they wanted you to commit.
mhm.
And it's like these little decisions in the design of like we want you to commit here, or they didn't think of it, or there's just only a few elements, or like the jump is delayed when you press the button, so like everything you do is like slightly pre-planned, and you have to like get into this flow state to talk the game's language. It's these games are so unique, even though again they only have two buttons. It's something that I always think of when I go back to NES games. It's like, damn, there's a lot of variance for just a little controller here. Like when I'm playing Castlevania 3 and I'm playing as Grant, when you're climbing around on like the ceilings and stuff, you really gotta like roll your thumb around that D-pad because if you let go of a direction too soon as you're like going around a corner, you just fall. So there's like a few frames you have to adjust your thumb to the next direction, and it's like I'm rolling my thumb around. I feel like a weird little spider
Goblin
guy crawling
Man,
on the walls as I'm rolling my finger on that D-pad, you know?
but not.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like how when like memes on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now for being like, oh, the damn level. But like I remember just watching my brother play the game. I just learned from watching him. I don't think he like really comprehended what I was doing. I just like knew what inputs he was doing and like where he went in the game, and I just followed in his footsteps.
Even the strategy.
Coincidentally, I only got like halfway through the game because he never fucking beat the game either.
Your knowledge ended where his knowledge ended.
My knowledge ended right after that fucking dam level because he didn't know where to go from there either.
That was honestly, I know a lot of people who just kind of squeaked through the dam and then they were in the city area and they're like, I don't know what to do. Like I was part of
What's
that.
funny about these games though is like back then, if you got stuck at a part like that, I don't think it really mattered. There were so many games I played with my sister where it's like we would only play like the first two levels because that's all we could get through, and it's like it was
Yeah,
just something for us to go to. It was a vibe.
yeah, I thought nothing of it because, like, as a kid, like, not being in a game wasn't a big deal. And it was like, oh, well, I got that far. Okay,
I'll come back to it in 20
cool.
years
Let's
and
do it
beat it.
again.
Like
Yeah,
2005.
eventually I did, but it took a while.
It's straight up the family computer. This to me is like the Big Brother console. Like it's like you had to have a big bro like showing you the ropes, and like you get to watch them play, and like all like they know all the secrets. Like even if it's not literally a big bro, like it's that kind of like fostering of community of like communal big
Yeah, you
bros,
had an
even if it's the Nintendo
uncle,
tip
you
line.
had a parent, you had a friend. Like there was
Yeah.
always some kind of mentorship going on because everyone was.
Yeah, and maybe you weren't good at it. Like I wasn't good at a lot of these games back then, but I didn't care. I loved just watching. I loved trying my best, and like even if my best wasn't good, it
Yeah,
was entertaining.
it was just the novelty of getting to play the game in your own home was fun. That's all we needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember cheering on my
It-
dad for getting to Joker on the Batman game, the first Batman.
oh hell
And I
yeah!
was just like, that was spiritual because like I could only get to like the sewer area or what like level 3 or something, and I'm like, yo, he's at the Joker and Joker shooting like lightning and stuff. I'm like, this is crazy, and I was like stomping the ground and I made a plate fall from like just so many good little memories. Just getting yelled at.
I I remember like being a kid and watching my like brother or uncle play Zelda, and they had like their nearly done save file, and like I'd start mine, and I didn't know where the fuck anything after Dungeon 1 was at. I was just
Yeah,
in
mind
awe of
blowing.
the fact they knew where all this shit was, and I had no idea how they knew.
Yeah. I can tell you my exact pathway as a kid in Zelda 1. I would finish Dungeon 1 easy, and then like I would wander for like an hour and find my way through into like Palace 5 where you go like up the stairs like 4 times or whatever, and then I would just be done because I'd be like, I don't know, like where were we doing here?
That was the
Yeah,
game.
I was like, I'm good. This is
That
fun.
that hilariously like continued into like my like young adult years when I sat down with the Game Boy Advance port of it and just tried to find Dungeon 2, and I still couldn't find it forever.
It's funny. My brain
Like, where the
is
fuck is this dungeon at?
my brain is still fuzzy on Dungeon 2. Like I could do the entire game like easy, but like every time I pick it back, I'm like, hold on. Like it's like this weird mental block because my brain as a kid couldn't find Dungeon 2, and to this day I have to trip myself up and be like, wait, oh, okay, it's right here. But there's always that wait.
You might have to next time you play, try sniffing some rubbing alcohol first,
Yeah.
see if it awakens anything in you.
I just
No, it's just that neuroplasticity ain't. It's not what I grew up with. I gotta think about and think of the appended knowledge off of my base knowledge now.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's that slight delay.
But yeah, there's just so much joy that comes like when I think about this system. Like let's talk about like some staple series that branched off of this. Like we got the Mario games, which Mario 3 again, generational, like it completely changed culture. You had a movie about it.
Everything that's platforms 2D still uses its DNA. It's hard to state enough just how like
And it plays
persistent
so good.
so many of these games are.
Like it still plays really,
Yeah.
really like you load up Mario 3 and you're like, this is the good stuff. Like
Just as good as any platformer that comes out now. It's like it feels weird to say that considering it's like this is the king of like platformers, but it's like yeah, it holds up. It's still 40 years later. I don't know what to tell you.
it's weird to joke about how like these series like kind of like peaked at their genres, but like even Dragon Quest 3, like just an absolute magnificent game that like you guys perfected the JRPG formula like 40 years ago. Mario 3, you perfected the platformer genre. Ninja Gaiden.
Like you said, let's look at like all these series that keep going. Ninja Gaiden, it's still going. It still pays homage to its roots. Castlevanias,
The Mega Man
the
games.
Marios, like Mega Mans. They all the building blocks are right here, and they are entirely as playable as they used to be. I'm gonna put that out there right now.
No,
Well, it's not our Final Fantasy VII reference, but we got Mother 1, Earthbound
Yeah.
Beginnings, Earthbound 0.
yeah.
The
Oh,
game that
I was
influenced
about to
Kirby
mention
Fox
Final
and the
Fantasy.
powerhouse that's Deltarune and Undertale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Undertale would not exist without Mother and everything, so
Yeah, it's just even the sports type, like Tecmo Super Bowl, that has its own cult like kind of following to
oh my
it,
god.
like competitive. And
Yeah, I had a friend that like the only video game he had was Tecmo Super Bowl. I remember going over to his house. His house always smelled like cleaning materials and mothballs. So like I would go to his basement with his wood panel finished walls. We would play some Tecmo Super Bowl. I would be wondering what that weird smell was, but like we would just play that for hours and hours.
you have the Contras that
Or it felt like hours at the time.
it could have been days for all we know.
Yeah,
Time,
still playing.
time was just time. But like, yeah, you had the Contras as well. Like, there. Oh my God, Bubble Bobble, which spawned into its own type of like game puzzle bobble, and then Rainbow Islands, and
It's all the establishments of like what games can be and what they are. Again, like we had the foundation of 2 buttons, which was already doubled the Atari's 1 button. So we were thinking with Portals back then. It
I mean,
is just yeah.
maybe not like as popular over here, but like Romance of the Three Kingdoms game series started out here
yeah, and that
with Koei before Koei became big and became the Dynasty Warriors people.
Fire Emblem, like
Yeah, OG Fire Emblem.
so many games, and then
And a lot of games now are just like putting dressings on top of that. You have your little cherry pit in the middle, which was the original NES game, and you just keep building on top of that and like rolling this ball up and making it bigger and bigger, but it's still all built on that core.
yeah, and then you have developers like Capcom was just nailing it. Like
Oh
The
my God,
Little
yeah.
Mermaid. Like again, these are games that like I shouldn't be uttering as great games, but like you had
There's so many licensed games that were just
solid.
insanely good because it's like that's just there wasn't like a set standard at the time. It's like, hey, we're gonna contract you to make this property. Just do whatever you want. I know you guys are good at making games. Just figure something out.
Yeah, like I have fond memories of playing through Little Mermaid with my cousin and beating it for her.
Same.
It's 3 levels.
I still got my
It's
cartridge.
not that hard. It's only a few levels. You could do it, Jenna. I believe in you. But like, then there's Mickey Mouse capades. Like, I don't know why my mom knew all the level selects to that. Like, that game was crazy fun co-op, like weird, twisted, like offbeat type of Mickey game. It's hard as nails, but super, super fun. I actually learned how to do the level select by like I saw her put the buttons in like a combination when like before you would pick a level. So like I would just randomly like put controls, like I would hold down and press B, and like it would send me to like the Alice in Wonderland woods, and I'm like, oh, this is my first level select. Like I just brute forced it. Like there's just so many cool
That's
little
awesome.
memories. I remember my mom leaving us home alone. Like my brother was like 8 and I was maybe like 4, and we just played Mario 3 the whole time, eating candy canes. Just Zelda 2. Oh my god, that game changed my life. Like I can't overstate that. I remember waking up once super early on Christmas. Must have been like, I don't know, it must have been 8 or 9. So it was like 95, 96. And, my parents were up all night wrapping presents, and I was up super early, and I was wondering, like, when are these lazy assholes waking up? I need to open up some presents. But that wasn't the case. So a way to pass the time was I'm just going to load up Zelda 2 and finish the first dungeon. I did that every year for of my life on Christmas till this day. Like, and it's evolved where I used to only do the first dungeon. Like for many, many years, 15 years, I would just do the first dungeon. Now I'm so good at it, I can finish the entire game in just a couple hours, and I bang it out every Christmas, and it's just like monumental to me. I kind of learned how to read because of that game. Like I grew playing that game. I was a baby in a cradle, and I would hold the controller upside down, gnawing on the sides of it. And then as I got older and smarter, just a few years later, I was like, oh, I can do this. I can, I can find the candle. I can hone my platforming skills and manage my levels and just really like grind it out. Like these games are just so damn special to me. And I don't know if I give the NES enough credit these days because I'm always going back to the GameCube. I have my Super Famicom set up. I love my Super Nintendo. But I'm always
There's a raw essence to NES.
it
Yeah.
is like the music, the chip to like the 8-bit noises, like Mega Man. Every game for 6 games, iconic music. Yeah, I hear people all the time at work with their ringer will be the Super Mario Brothers theme. Like it's just iconic, and there's just that like you said, that raw essence of just like gaming in it. And I always go back to the Famicom. Like I always go back to NES games. I beat Mega Man 3 like I don't know, once a month at least. Like not literally, but like I'm always going back to it. I'll play through it a few times a year. You know, Thanksgiving just last Thanksgiving, I ran through Gradius, I ran through Bucky O'Hare, I ran through Chippendale, I ran through like 2 other games in just like one afternoon, and I felt refreshed. I felt rejuvenated. It's just wild how powerful these games are for me. Like, do you guys have?
I have a question for you specifically, just piggybacking off of this. Since you have like such a long-standing ritual with like Zelda 2 specifically, how would you say that you differentiate the nostalgia clouding your judgment here versus like just appreciating like a solid design that holds up through the years? Like, how do you draw the line there?
When you finish with that, I have another answer for that as well, but you go
Yeah,
first.
no, I would just say, as the years go by, I appreciate it more in different ways. Like as a kid, it evoked a sense of like mystery and challenge because it seemed so big, and there was so many hidden things on these random tiles, and the dungeons seemed large and massive. And then as I've gotten older, the game has shrunk, but my appreciation for it has grown because I just feel like the design of it is just genius. Like it's straight up the most RPG Zelda out there. Like you're playing with numbers, you're leveling up your stats, you're leveling up your attack, your magic. You have a list of spells. The dungeons are pretty clever, even if they are a bit samey. Sure, but again, this was 1988. Like I don't know.
You're still challenging all of them. That's the
Yeah,
important
and I
thing.
don't know what you want from like level design in the 80s. Like they were doing their best.
Yeah.
But then you have this.
I hate to break it to you, a lot of level design now still
Yeah,
is like
it's
boxed
very
rooms and just like
samey.
hallways connecting those rooms. You can look at the overlays for these maps on modern design. A lot of it is just you can translate it to these basic designs.
But yeah, the world map too. It just it's crazy to me because it has that Metroid like level design on the world map where it's like, oh, there's a rock here. I can't get to that south part of the map. Let me just explore up here. Oh, I found jump, and then I found the hammer, and now I can make a shortcut here. Like I just think it's brilliant game design, and its challenge is so fun. I feel like the combat in that game, the way it tests your like reaction and reflexes and ability to like be able to cheese and like manage your life and health and everything is just still so good. I just think the design, like as I've gotten better eyes, the design is just way more appreciated. And this isn't stuff I enjoyed as a kid, so it's not quite the like nostalgia. It's just this new set of like things that I enjoy that I've discovered over the years. I was this,
Appreciating game design, like you were saying earlier that like this is the era of like we still called them boards instead of levels.
mhm.
So it's like it was translating from like board games
Yeah.
and like old games. Zero, you said
Yeah,
you
I
had
was
an
gonna.
answer to this as well
Yeah,
though?
what's that?
Yes. So the thing is, I grew up on Zelda 2. I didn't develop the same like ritual JJ did with it. I just knew it as like this weird Zelda game that was completely different from Zelda 1 and Link to the Past that I wanted to like play more of, but like I didn't understand what the hell the game wanted from me for many years, honestly. It took me like being a teenager, like in high school, before I finally sat down and was like, you know what? I have it on the Game Boy Advance. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna figure out this game. So like I just would start trying to go through it, essentially like learning how to play it bit by bit. And really, there is no 2D action RPG that does it like Zelda 2. Nothing feels the same. I played so many of these games chasing this dragon. Nothing has that same weightiness, that same high low combat. I something about it's just so elegant in how it's easy to learn but so difficult to master. And I really,
Yeah, it
really
comes
wish
with the
someone could make a
territory
game
in a
like
lot of
this.
these. Yeah, a lot of these games, that's the territory. Easy to pick up, but like when if you want to master it or like beat it, like I said, it's like you have to fully ingest it and speak its language, and it's its own language instead of like. I, if you play enough modern games, you see that they're kind of like they're again. It's just like there's a little bit of homogenization and a little bit of like, okay, this
There's
is the standard. This is how things should feel. This is how they should
yeah.
play.
It's all safe design things. Like we know this works. This is appealing to people. We do this. Whereas the NES, like, when it started out, it was still ideas of arcade games. Like, oh, these are just short pick up
Yeah,
and
you got
play games.
limited lives. And
Yeah. And then later on in the console's life, you get stuff like Zelda that starts facilitating and Metroid and Dragon Slayer 4, Drazzle family, where these games are so huge now that like they need saves and password systems. Like it evolves and like, Mario 3, like having to start getting extra chips on the cartridge just to fit more graphics in and doing bank switching so it can all fit in the NES so it can look way better than anything before its time.
I think
It's
that's
truly like just this generational run of like watching the technology evolve on this one
I
console.
think that's a good point that you're making too, because when you look at the black box games, those were like the original NES games for anyone not aware. Like the balloon fights, the ice climbers, the like the most basic. They were still like they had that philosophy of arcade game. They had that philosophy of like, oh, these are just prettier looking Atari games. And then you look at its
yeah, maybe like a single screen or like just a few screens that you leveled between, and they were like they felt like boards.
Yeah, absolutely. It was your Monopoly board or your whatever like whatever board.
Your Pac-Man
Yeah.
board.
But then you look at what the last NES game was, what, 93, 94, give or take. And
I want to say 94 or 95, honestly.
yeah, it's somewhere around there. It had a 10-year span in an era where things were moving fast. So it was just right off the heels of like, the Atari era. And then it lived well into, like the Sega Saturn era, like the CD kind of based, crazy type of games that we have. And to see late era NES games like your Little Samsons, your Batman Return of the Jokers, your Wario Woods, your Kirby, like these games feel like they were on a completely different system just by like the fidelity that they had going. Like the language of game design was much more clearer at this point, and the technology and understanding of how this console worked was like, to its peak where they could put whatever chips they wanted in the cartridges and use whatever developer tricks they wanted, and you get these
There was so
giant
much learning and
games.
piggybacking at that time.
Yeah,
There was
look
so
at
much borrowing and learning and like rapid fire terms. It was
But
crazy.
you got Zero.
what was it? What's that one Tiny Toons game on the NES that is being found out to plagiarize Mario 3 at its core, coding and all? That's a fun one.
Oh,
I was gonna say, look at Mega Man 2 versus Mega Man 5 and 6, for
yeah,
example.
Mega Man.
going from just basic side-scrolling levels to like these complicated near parallax scrolling
Yeah,
levels.
I always
Yeah, Mega Man 1 like barely worked half the
yeah,
time.
That's true.
I always say Mega Man 5 feels like almost like a Konami game in the sense where like there's just all these like weird Ninja Turtle like flying helicopter enemies and you're just riding on a little jet ski on the, like on the waves and it that's where they were at that point. That's what worked and like these developers started trying more and more stuff like that. Like speaking of Tiny Toons, I had the world record for the Tiny Toons game on the NES at one point, which
Oh
I
hell yeah!
grinded hard, hard,
Nice.
hard. I really love that game. There's movement in it. There's clever level design. You get multiple characters. Like these games are just fun. Again, like you said, there's two buttons, but there's like 800 games that all feel different. You have these weird little like LJN games that are just barely working and they have this weird philosophy to them. But then you have these crazy Capcom games where even like I said, Little Mermaid, Chippendale, Mickey Mouse are solid platformers. And then you move.
And so many of these games are like still landmark post for you to reach for like, oh yeah, you think you're a good gamer? Why don't you go beat Contra without the Konami
Yeah,
code? Why don't you go like beat some of these old games, you know? Like that's
Battletoads.
still the litmus test. Yeah. I will never beat that game.
Yeah.
It just beats my ass. Shout outs real quick to the Mexican runner. If you're not aware, this guy has he did an event called NES Mania a few years back where he beat every single North American released NES game. Not a small feat. Some of these games he spent like hundreds of hours on. He went through like all 700 of them, and to be able to tackle all of that is such a wide berth. I just wanted to shout him out because it's a real inspiration for me personally to get through any of these games. Because it's like, okay, well, one person can do it. You just need to recognize the pattern, as he would
Yeah.
say.
TMR, my goat. No mames, man.
Yeah. And he
No
Oh
mames.
my miss. And he had to learn like there were games that he picked up that had like there was no game FAQs resources. Like these were games that had no clear rules or lines to them. Again, because every game was Wild West. They did whatever they wanted. So he would load up like some random game and he would just be like, "Oh, okay, like I guess I got to figure this out because there's like barely any resources.
Mhm.
There's no one has good strategies. I got to kind of learn all this." And yeah, it's just a testament to like how enjoyable these games can be if you're not averse to failure. Like if you're going to have to lose, I always would tell my friends, I'm like, to win, you have to lose at these games. And they would think,
That is entirely the foundation here. And I think that's what makes you, JJ's in particular, an enormously strong Smash
yeah,
Brothers player. You were not afraid to lose. A lot of those skills transferred over. Like, look at Smash Ultimate and look at how many of these legacy franchises are in it. There's so many, like, game feel
got
and like
Rob in
mechanic things
there.
that do transfer over skill wise, like spacing, like playing Castlevania, you can see like the spacing of the whip and like just the delay of getting your whip out and stuff. That stuff translates over to Smash and like fighting games and stuff so much. It's all generational. It all comes back together.
It really does. I remember like back in the day when I first started getting into Smash competitively, I would just like run through Mega Man X or Mega Man games to like be sharp in Smash because it was a platform game and or a platform fighter and it would test your reflexes and spacing and under like NES games are unforgiving if you don't have the right spacing. It's done. Gradius, if you're playing Gradius, whatever you want to call it, and you die on the last stage and you go in there power like with no power ups, reset the game. It's over.
Yeah, the game just
Yeah,
goes
so-
GG,
Like
shake
you're
my
not
hand, and it spits in
you
his hand
can't
before it
mash
shakes your
enough.
hand.
Like maybe you can develop a strategy, but like there's like a 99% rate of failure. Like even Japanese
Yeah, it's like you
developers.
have to get through it this
I
way.
can't remember if it was Kamiya. The one Japanese developer I was following on Twitter, he was like, I forgot how hard this game is. If you die at any point past stage one, you're like, you have to reset. Like, it's crazy. And I just love that because it just kind of it tests your patience, it tests your metal, it tests so many facets, and that's why I truly feel like NES games have this like spiritual attachment to me because I remember some crazy dark night of the soul where I was just like trying to beat these hard games and it just seemed impossible and I'm just like drenched in sweat and like just trying so hard. Now I just lean back and beat Silk Song in a few boss tries and it's just like this is all right. This is nothing, but it's just
It's like
generational.
you've been there though. It's like
It really has.
you already exhibited those skills, and like these games, it's like you learn or you leave. It's like it's not gonna sit there and be like, okay, why don't you try again, honey? No, no, you're back to the title screen, motherfucker. You get to go from the top of the slide again.
I'm the zoomer here in this chat, it seems. I remember that with like Mega Man 8 when I finally sat down and beat Tango Man as like a young teenager. Like, fuck you, I'm beating this game finally. I want to get some progress in Mega Man.
Hey,
Tired of
Yeah.
losing to this thing all the
I
time.
had that in Mega Man 8 with the first Wily stage. That was hard. That slide, jump, jump. It's really sick music. But like that wasn't easy, even as a 10-year-old when it came out in 97 or whatever. Like
But I think you're right on that being like the fighting game foundation, because it was like the time where I'd sit down and just wait my turn and finally understand
Yeah.
how to fight a boss.
And being able to get knocked down and get back up again, like it's literally such an important skill.
yeah. So we're coming up on the hour here. We went to and fro from, some good memories of the NES. What what would it be do we have a top like three? We'll narrow it down to top three. Like what would be your top three NES games if someone put you on an island
Oh man.
I
Where do you even start with a list like that?
I'll go first to give you guys a little bit of time. I think it's obvious from mine so far, but like I think I would say Zelda 2 and Mega Man 3 top two easily. Like they can go interchange, whatever one is at the top for that week. That's fine. And then I would say my third, who I Dragon Warrior genuinely changed me. Like I have such fond memories of that playing with my dad and even being it was like the mid 90s 98 when I was actually able to like beat it by myself. I was 9 or 10 and I remember really just figuring it out and being like, "Oh, this is how numbers work." Like, "Oh." So, yeah, I think if I had a gun to my head, I would say Dragon Warrior. Like those three just not only are super fun and I could play them on any afternoon. You can knock Dragon Warrior out in an afternoon. The HD remake, I'm like 8 hours in and pretty much done. Like, Zelda 2, same thing if you know what you're doing. And Mega Man 3, you could play that in Street Fighter 6. They added Mega Man 3 to Street Fighter 6. I don't know why, whatever reason. I must have beaten that game.
That's
I
hilarious.
must have beaten that in Street Fighter 6 like 8 times. And that's just since I discovered it in June. Like anytime I would grind to get to High Master, like I would just be like, let me get in the zone by just spending 45 minutes beating Mega Man 3. And I think that's just so
Yeah, it's a
cool.
quick little meditation
It
session.
really does. It gets you in the
Yo,
zone.
shout outs to Legendary Wings that had an NES port that we also all discovered through fucking Street Fighter 6's arcade.
Beautiful game. So, do you guys have
I'm going to echo. Yeah, I got to echo the Mega Man 3
Slower
for
Brothers?
sure. Yeah, I gotta throw Punch Out on there.
Oh, good.
That is one game I can literally always go back to. Like, I will never forget some of the strategies to these fighters. Just
That's a good
having
one.
like specific techniques to each of these fights. Like, there's so much personality to each of the fighters. Like, you can imagine their whole background. This came out when obviously Mike Tyson was big. Boxing was like on
Yeah.
top of the world. Like it felt
89-ish?
so huge. Yeah, like I think this came out in like '89, Punch Out.
Something like that.
Um, But that game was totally transformative to me just for like challenge sake and like just you get one fighter further, you get a little bit further the next time you go back to the game. It was a whole climb, the ladder climb, and like 1 versus 1. Like there's nothing to blame but you versus this guy. There's nothing else, and it's just so mechanically sound. Everything is so responsive. Punch Out is like the latency tester for me too.
Yeah.
If you can play Punch Out and like kill Glass Joe with like perfection, then it's like okay, well this TV and this input is
It
working all
passes the
right.
test.
It's checking
Yeah,
out.
apparently Punch
Yeah.
Out came out in '87, and what a landmark!
Oh wow.
Which is crazy. We're going on 40 years with that one, and like you said, this game has so much personality. Like, it's so hard to articulate how little personality games had just like 4 years before that. Like these were just dots
Yeah.
on a screen, most basic, like rudimentary, like shoot other dot with color.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But this was like every single character felt like they were from a specific
like a
corner of the world. Everyone
cartoon
had like their unique
vibe. Yeah,
themes.
there's so
Yeah.
much
The
more.
music was out of this. You had your trainer, you ran with him between the fights and the
Cutscenes, yeah,
leagues. Just
cutscenes,
incredible.
cutscene.
Yeah, cutscenes.
So you got
So
Mega
yeah,
Man 3 Punch Out.
there's always yeah, there's always the staples. Like I love all the platformers and like side scrollers. I'm gonna have to give number 3 to my baby. It's not unexpected. It's Final
There
Fantasy.
you go.
It's the granddaddy. We wouldn't have Final Fantasy 7
No,
without it.
yeah.
So thank you, Final Fantasy. Um, it's just something I was always able to go back to. It's a comfort food for me. Like I would read 8-Bit Theater back in the day, which is a web comic that was based entirely on FF1 sprites and like kind of talked like it was based in that world, but like with liberties. But reading that and playing the game back when I was like 9, 10 really like opened my mind to RPGs a lot. I really like like it's basic now. The party composition is like you clearly have favorites. You can do challenge runs like White Mage only runs like that. It just got me into that mind of like experimenting. You can have your own party. You can name your party. All the monsters felt like insane. It
Run
was
into like
great
20.
art design.
You run into 24
Yeah,
goblins. Like there was no limit. Like
yeah.
it was
You got to
wild.
fight like 9 pirates at once.
Yeah.
Like suddenly you're fighting 9 banshees. As oh, I got to reset because there were 9 of them too, and they're gonna
I didn't
cast their
even get
instant
to
death on
attack.
me. And this and
I had no
yeah,
chance.
the swamp dungeon or whatever it was before the elf castle, like that's notoriously difficult. These little like landmark spots of challenge and having to overcome them. And then all the ROM hacks years later. I was playing a ROM hack earlier this year of FF1, and it added like some new itemization, some new classes, monsters, stuff like that. It's just such a good base, and I will always love it with all my heart.
I do want to add a random number 4 that just popped into my head. You said that Bubble Bobble. I just had to throw that out there
Oh
just
yeah,
because I feel like we didn't really mention that. I might.
it's up there.
Great co-op game. Great game to just like grind out. Like if you want to like beat it in like one life or one continue. There's a ton of stages. It's clever. Oh, I love you, Bubble Bobble.
Beautiful.
But go on, Zero. What do you got?
I think you're gonna find our lists have a lot of overlaps. We have kind of the same taste. First off, though, best looking NES game. If I don't mention this, Ver is going to kick my ass. My first one is Gimmick.
Gimmick is great.
The
Yes, I
fucking
wanted to
best to
mention
ever
Gimmick.
do it on that
Good
console.
call.
That game seems fun as shit to be stuck on Ellen with and just master every little star arcing bounce and what have you. Also,
There's
just
so
really
much
fun
movement tech in that game. It's crazy.
and just a fucking beautiful,
It looks so
beautiful
good.
game.
It sounds good. It's a great game.
It could have been a Super Nintendo game, really.
Yeah.
Really could have.
It's
It was
those
93.
those late gen NES games are just so good.
Shout out to Kirby's Adventure 2. That game is fucking incredible for NES. It
It's so
laid the
big.
groundwork for so many platformer adventure games.
Absolutely.
God, I wish I had more than 3 slots. There's so many fucking games here. I guess number 2
There's
is
so many, man.
Zelda 2.
Hell
I
yeah.
fucking love that
Hell
game.
yeah.
That weightiness, that jump, that high low, getting the jump in, the get over Darknut's block.
Going in,
It's so
going
fucking
into a
good.
screen and just using your shield spell and hoping you got enough for life. Like
Mhm.
after the fight, oh, it's so good.
The resource
Dealing with the
management is
So
beautiful.
good.
dealing with that boomerang guy's like 4 different attack directions, up, down, in front, up, down, and back.
I always thought that guy had a
Beautiful.
mustache. I don't know. My brain.
I still think he has a mustache. He looks like a fucking terrier dog to me.
Right? Fuck that guy.
It's not the guy I hate the most. That's that fucking the Listless, the fucking mace that just swings on you. And the one that can throw it.
He reminds me of a Hammer
Number three,
brother.
though. Number 3 is a fucking hard choice because there's like I mentioned earlier, the Dragon Slayer family, Dragon Slayer 4, Drazzle, amazing Metroidvania game, laid the foundation for how that kind of game would look with a massive world. Yeah, Metroid
Barely
1 was I'm
mentioned
not no,
Metroid.
not
Yeah,
Metroid 1. Fuck
so
Metroid
good.
1.
It's so
Yeah,
good though.
that
Like,
just goes to show.
It is.
yeah, there's
But
an
I mean,
endless.
I'm more of a Metroid 2 guy and Super
Yeah,
Metroid
there's
at my core.
the thing is every Metroid game is like a 10 out of 10. That's the crazy part about that series. Like up until Prime, like they're all just like generationally god games.
Let's see what I say. My number, and I mean, there's Mother 1, but I think my number 3 is actually just Dragon Warrior 2 or Dragon Warrior 1. I can't really decide. They're both fucking solid. I guess it's probably 1. I love the item management in that game. Having to use torches to see around and then juggling between your light spell and the for burning through your magic versus conserving it and keeping more torches. It's just a wonderful time.
So simple
But
too.
man, there's so many games on this list.
Yeah, right. I could name a top 20 easily. Like we got the Ninja Gaidens, 1, 2, and 3 are all solid. You have like
Kid
the Kid
Icarus.
Icarus
What?
game, like the Ninja Turtles games, like Turtles 1
Huh.
and then
River City
2.
Ransom.
Yeah, River City Ransom is just solid. Like again, all the I could put all 6 Mega Man games on there and squeeze them in like easily top
They're
20.
just game ass games. You want to play a video game? You're just playing a video game when you come to NES. That's
Journey
all you get.
Journey to Silius. God, I love that game. The music,
Crystalis.
Crystal. Yeah, the such good. The world could have ended. What was it, 1999 or something? In Crystal,
Yeah.
like we should be dead now. But yeah, and that game is so good. Like, there's no reason why there shouldn't be like a Crystallis like 8 at this point. Like,
There was one on Game Boy Color.
Yep.
I think it was like a pseudo sequel.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Yep. Yeah, I
God, I
mean,
mean, even with the like horror game offerings, we got like Friday 13th actually is like one of the first games that has like a boss wandering the map. It's not just, hey, he's at the end of the stage or at the end of this maze, go kick his ass. No, he's fucking hunting you down.
Yeah, I know people rag
And
on Friday the 13th. It's kind of cool with like the first person exploration in the houses,
cool
and then
music
suddenly
too.
Jason pops out at you.
That I think it's
Yeah.
the night music or one of the tracks. Banger.
that music
That
is
was another game I would just
heart-rendering.
vibe to with my sister. We didn't try to beat it. We would just like go around as these kids, and we make little stories as you pick the camp counselors that you play as, and like, one by
Only
one
2
they would
good
all die,
ones,
and we would just
and
have a
then
good
2
time.
okay ones, and 2 that were just sacrificial lambs.
Yeah. There's
And
also Sweet Home, which is like the proto-genesis
was
of Resident Evil and
I
everything,
was gonna
you
say
know?
it's the game Resident Evil's based off of.
The
Also a
game
game
that
with
Laplace No Ma can attribute to as well.
I mean, that was gonna I'll unveil the curtain. That was gonna be my choice for spooky month, but I figured Laplace was something new to all of us.
Yeah.
Whereas I
Yeah, I
just
think that
already
was
know a
a
lot of Sweet
good
Home as it is.
that was a really good middle ground because you were initially thinking Sweet Home. I was thinking like Look Outside. We kind of met in the middle on a Super Nintendo.
And I just made another fucking rabbit hole for myself to dig into later with that game. There's like 4 more versions of it, and they're all fucking different. But yeah, what a fucking
Great hole
console,
to be
man.
in.
A nice hole.
There's a Space Harrier in this console? Wait, there's a Space Harrier port on this?
On the NES?
That's
Oh,
crazy.
That's
Yeah,
odd.
I didn't know about that.
Hmm.
even like we didn't even mention like Duck Hunt, like the combo pack of Duck Hunt and Mario Bros on like one cart.
Right.
It was
Operation
mind
Wolf.
blowing.
Dude,
Everyone had it.
track and field. I have 2 of those pads. I never cheated with the hand thing where you hit the hands where you go da 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 da. I was a true gamer. Like, I remember
Oh, you were actually
I
running, huh?
I would beat Cheetah. I would beat Turtle. I would beat Rabbit. I beat all of them. I love that game. I
Damn.
love that pad. I would literally use it as a bed sheet if I could, like how Angry Video Game Nerd used it as a cape. Like I have two of them. I'm about to just sleep in them. Like something about the material, like the big
Uh-huh.
red and blue buttons on it, like it
Yeah.
just evoked such a sense of like, whoa, this is crazy. I can run on this and the game
Mm.
runs and like the later stages are actually crazy. Like you gotta be going fast. Like it
It
beautiful.
was like playing Wii 20 years early,
Yeah, it really
like
was.
doing your motion
Jump, you
gaming.
had to jump. Like it wasn't a little
Oh,
skip, you had to fucking jump. Like it was crazy.
well, now
Mm.
I guess that's a good point to insert this fun fact. I mean, Mii's were originally planned for the Famicom. Like they were trying to prototype
No
that idea
kidding.
back in the
Yeah,
80s. Yeah,
that's wild.
it just took until the Wii to finally actually get them to fruition.
So there's too ahead of the
Yeah, we
curve.
barely even mentioned how like Nintendo being a toy company had them making all these weird innovations, weird little
Oh yeah, shout
peripherals,
out to
weird
that.
hardware, like get your power glove, it's so bad. You get like your power mats, you get like all this weird like your little head visors that you got to shout fire into. Like go watch the
Fire,
Angry Video Game
fire,
Nerd
fire.
episode on the
Oh my god.
accessories. He's got it all
The
covered.
NES
But
Max controller, we had one of those as a kid.
We did too. It
That thing
sucked
was
ass.
I hate it, but I love it because it's just kind of cool. But it sucks. But it's so cool. But
Yeah,
I
like
hate
it's
it, but
cool
love it.
as history, but I hated that thing. I never used
That's
that thing.
ugly circle pad. Like even when it was brand new, it felt limp and broken, and I'm just like, what are we doing here? But man, those
yeah.
ooh, but it looks so cool.
When it hit though, it
It
hit.
hit. But yeah, I mean,
Rob didn't do too much, but like, I mean, he was trying his
yeah,
best.
he was doing his little thing. But yeah, I mean, we could be here all day talking about the NES, but I mean, for the sake of just turning the page on another chapter, I'd say, that's all she wrote. Like any closing thoughts real quick, any random games you want to give a quick little shout out to just to echo its name into the universe?
So before I recommend any games, I will say anyone listening who is thinking about trying some of these games, I'm just going to point out, I'm going to be that hardware guy again. It's an entirely different experience when you are playing on composite on an actual CRT. These games are meant to be like the graphics being blended together and not being able to see every little sharp little pixel line. It feels so different when it's smooth
Yeah.
and like on emulator stuff.
Oh,
You
you're
owe it to
absolutely right.
yourself to try to play this on like either original hardware or just like a RetroArch that even like has a visual shader or something. You try to get close to the original because it's a totally different feel of like the TV glow and like just the blending of the pixels and stuff.
If
Totally
if you're
different.
savvy, you can get a Wii, and with the
Yeah.
on the Wii Wiimote, there's the from the NES Mini that came out. You can just hook those controllers into your Wiimote, so you got perfect emulation on a CRT, and just have your a literal NES controller hooked into your Wiimote, and that's without breaking the bank, because retro gaming
Yeah.
could be a little crazy, but there's options to really get as close
Yeah,
as
you can
possible.
do that. You can do like Mr. FPGA. There's a lot of things out there now, so just try to find something.
Yeah, I don't recommend playing NES on like straight up HDMI if it's like your first time. Like if you're acquainted with
I,
it,
I, I I really don't think it's going to be a good first impression,
no,
honestly.
the
It's just like
lag,
it
oof,
feels so different.
and the
Yeah.
look with that CRT radiation coming out, it's just different. But yeah, I mean, that is the NES. 40 years of bliss. Uh, I would not take another moment from it. Like I just adore this system. I need to start putting it at the top of my list when I think about like favorite consoles, because like I got GameCube, I got Dreamcast up there, I got like the DS, like, but man, this guy NES.
I think it's like for so many years we kind of judge games by like playtime, and that's their value. Like, oh, you can get like 20 hours out of this, you can get 40 hours. But like a lot of these games, they're just short little things that you can return
And
to. Some of them are a little longer, but
I've
like,
gotten 40 years out of
eh,
Mega Man 3. Show me any other game.
yeah, that game's like 2 hours long.
That's that arcade DNA in them, you know. That's how games were back then. You just return to the same game you like to play from start to finish.
Like a good
You didn't have to
album.
worry about, and like that's why a lot of game reviews were hammering replayability because it was novel if it
Yeah.
actually did something different for replayability.
Do you have any
But, man,
special mentions, Zero?
God, I was scrolling through the list trying to think of one while you guys were talking. I really don't. I mean, we could do a whole episode talking about like Takeshi's Challenge and how
Oh
insane
yeah!
that
Oh my
game
God! I
is.
didn't even mention Takeshi's Challenge. I meant to. There's so much shit in that game. Takeshi's Challenge it deserves its own episode.
Yeah,
Hey,
fuck Xanadu, fucking Milan's Secret
oh my
Castle, like
god.
all these.
Fire and Ice.
There's
Like,
so many
Adventure
games
Island,
here, man.
even
dude,
like I have a lot to say
that
about
final
Adventure
jump
Island.
on Adventure Island. Ooh, like
It's fucking evil.
ooh, oh, oh.
Blaster Master, my fucking goat.
You
God,
could
there's
basically throw a dart at the NES list, and you're most likely gonna land on something that's gonna be pretty fucking cool, even if it's only for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, that's Mario 1 gets beaten in like 3 minutes now or some shit. I don't know what the speedrun is anymore. 4 minutes, something seconds. Fantastic game. Maybe all you
441
need is
or
5
something
minutes.
like that. I just remember someone yelling something. But yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
this is timeless. This console, it's crossed that threshold. 40 years, almost half a century, still super relevant in the culture, still super relevant in people's
Finer
hearts.
with age.
Yeah, like you appreciate
Yeah,
it more.
there's
Truly.
there's no other console you're gonna play a game and then play its sequel and it's just a completely different genre entirely.
Yeah.
That just doesn't happen anymore. I miss that feeling, man.
You can't recreate it because it was a period of discovery, and it laid the groundwork for everything that came after. Bless the NES.
Yeah, bless the NES, baby. To the day I die. But yeah,
Got that dog bone in my hand.
got that dog
till
bone
I
in
die.
me. Get a little tattoo of
Also got
it. Oh man, I love this system. I
Oh.
really do.
I guess my one last
There's-
thing is like everyone talks about how they remember like seeing Mario 3 on the Wizard, but I remember like we had the VHS tape of Beethoven 2 and they play Mario 3 in that. And that's how I knew about Mario 3.
My Mario 3 was in
Yeah, and
Three Ninjas.
I mean, I had the actual game too, but like, yeah.
Same. I had the Japanese
seeing any
version.
of that stuff like on TV or anything, it was so cool.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. All right. That is the NES 40 years of greatness.
Here's to 40 more years.
Yeah, hey, maybe
Hell yeah.
in 2060 we'll be
Yeah,
doing an episode
See you
on
guys when I'm 75. Let's meet back up.
We'll keep doing
Give me
this.
a CRT and a flash card. I'm just gonna play all these games in my retirement home. Fuck it.
The $700,000 CRT because they're all going to get stinked and like they're super
Yeah.
valuable. That'd be wild.
We'll have
believe in
Neuralink
us.
by then.
I believe in
It's
us
fine.
recreating the technology properly somehow, some way. I believe.
Hey, it
in
happened with records. Who knows?
Even if we don't, we were very fortunate to live in this time, and that's why I will never regret indulging this much time in video games. It's such a special time that you have to exist in the moment to fully appreciate. Bless them. It's been such a joy to ride these out, and thank the NES for being my introductory console to all of
yeah, this might be why I even met you guys down that timeline.
it. For sure.
Right. I do want to mention one final thing. I'm sorry. One last
Yeah,
thing.
go on.
If you want to enjoy that newfound discovery feeling, there was a recently unreleased game that got leaked of a Splatterhouse RPG that recently just came out that was not released back in the day. So if you want to enjoy like the newfound discovery feeling, go check that out.
To piggyback off of that, there's a lot of like if say you're a longtime NES guy and you've been doing this for 40 years, go to romhacking.net and there's a world of games that you've never even played. There's that Jesus game, but it's a visual novel and the space station is Jesus and it's great. It's an adventure. It's so cool. I think someone from Dragon Quest had worked on it in some capacity. I could be fudging.
Oh, that's cool.
I could be fudging that one up, but it's solid. It's so fun. It's a little text-based adventure game.
There's so many ROM hacks. Oh my god.
Yeah, and the
Yeah,
ROM
there's
hacks too. Endless randomizers and sprite changes. If you want Mario in whatever random Contra game that probably exists, it's all there.
I was playing a Mario 2 version that was Beatles themed. It's like Yellow Submarine,
That's
so like everything is
amazing.
gray, and you have to go beat the Blue Meanies, and like Ringo is
I
Toad, and
love
like
that.
it's really good. You go check
I
it
love
out.
that so much. All right, that is the NES, and that's our first kickoff on Nostalgia November. We'll see you next week, and till next time, GG's.
GG's, keep gaming.
GG's.